time in the city, you can pick us up at www.kuaw.org or go to the TuneIn app and search KUAW. Listen to us. We're on 24 hours a day. That's KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station. And this is what you hear every day from noon till 2. Don't miss the Cheryl Underwood Show.
Credit Black. Where you at, baby?
Sure, I'm at my first alma mater, Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia. CAU was the first HBCU in the southern United States. Shout out to our affiliate ATL Talks in Atlanta, Georgia, and everyone getting out there to vote for those 2 Senate seats. We love you.
That's what I'm talking.
You are listening to KUAW Radio, home of the all-new Jamal Bakes Show, and I'm Jamal Bakes, and thank you so very much for listening to the station bringing you talk, news, entertainment that you won't get anywhere else. KUAWN, of and about our community.
This is the last weekend before Christmas, and on Blue Simon and City, we're wrapping up our All Christmas Blues and Southern Soul program.
Gene Bailey.
We have a very special guest that you will definitely enjoy, and we'll hear from some of the...
All right. Yes. We are joined now. This is the BFTAA and More Show. I'm your host, Louis George Walker, and I'm glad to be here with you today. You're listening to KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom Radio, right here in Kansas City. This is Kansas City's global community radio station, and we are glad to be with you. You can listen to us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, TuneIn. We're all over the place there. Periscope. So if you want to check us out, just type in KUAW-radio. If you have one of the Google or Amazon smart speakers, just tell it to play KUAW. If you got an iPhone or something, say, Alexa, play KUAW, and it will be on there. So we're there. And all while this show is going on, if you'd like to call in, we accept calls from the public. You can give us a call at 816-599-6893. That's 816-599-6893. Feel free to call in at any time. You can also chat with us on our Facebook page, KUAW-radio. On YouTube, we're KUAW Space Radio. And on Twitter, it's KUAW_radio. But all you have to mainly do is put in KUAW Radio. We're going to pop up there for you. So, hey, it's we're into this new year. This is our second show of the new year. We're glad to be with you. A lot of things happened since last week, since last Monday. You know, we were kind of bringing in the new year on here. And, man, I tell you, it's been some kind of week. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as we go forward. We've got a special guest in the studio, so we will be talking with him in a little while. But we want to go over some of the stuff that's been happening, some of the things that are in the news. Definitely you should know that this gives you the emphasis to know why you have to vote, why you have to stay on top of things that are going on, because it's just a lot that can happen in this world on a daily basis. Now, we also want to let you know that we still have some computers. So if you know someone that has need of a desktop computer, especially if they have children in the house, we have about 13 computers left to give out. We had 30 of them. We have about 13 left. And you can get one of these computers, or if you know a family that needs it, we had told them to email us at bftaa@sbcglobal.net and let us know that you want a computer. But we got to thinking about that, and some people that don't have a computer at all, it's going to be hard for them to email us. So if you know a family that's in need of a computer, be sure and tell them they can also give us a call here at KUAW Radio. And that number is 816-599-6893. We'll put your name on the list. As I say, there's about 13 more computers left. So 816-599-6893. If you call that, we'll get your name on the list. Leave us some information on how to get back in touch with you. If you don't have an email, leave your phone number so that we can get back in touch with you, let you know that we've got the information, and if we still have computers left when you call. But be sure and tell anybody you know that needs a desktop computer. Now, these are not laptops. It's a desktop computer. Really, I guess they're becoming like old school, almost like dinosaurs, because everybody either has a laptop, a tablet, all of that. But desktops still work. Matter of fact, I'm looking at one right now. That's what I'm talking to you on. Is over our desktop computers that we have here. And these computers, since they came from a corporation and they're almost new, they were bought about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. They have the Intel i5 chip, 8 gigabits of RAM, a 250 gigabit hard drive. What they don't have is a Wi-Fi adapter. So you have to plug them into your router. If you've got internet at home, you have to plug them into the router. Or you can buy a Wi-Fi adapter. I went out online checking at Micro Center at Best Buy. You can get a Wi-Fi adapter starting at about $8 or $9. And it's just a small unit that you just plug into your USB jack on your computer, front or back. You plug it in there, and then you got Wi-Fi. You can pick it up just like you would with a laptop or a tablet or anything. So you can buy those starting at $9. They go up to $50, $60 for them. But I would say for just here in your house or something, and depending upon how much speed you want, you could spend $9, maybe $12, get a little better one. But you can get Wi-Fi for that. Also, desktop computers don't come with a camera. So you also need to buy a webcam. Webcams start at around $29 and they go up. You can buy a webcam and you can buy the Wi-Fi adapter. Both of those, you'd be under $50. You got a great computer and you'd be able to do Zoom and all the other work, because the cameras usually have a microphone built into them. So you'll have the microphone when you buy the camera. So you get that, you're ready to go. So we've got these computers. We want to put them into some good homes where people need them. We would hope, and there's no charge for these computers. They're absolutely free. So tell anybody they can either email us at BFTAA@sbcglobal.net. That's B as in boy, F as in Frank, T as in Tom, A as in Apple, A as in Apple. BFTAA@sbcglobal.net. And say that you're interested in one of our computers that we are distributing. You can also call, excuse me. Excuse me. You could also give us a call at 816-599-6893. That's 816-599-6893. Give us a call and we can see about getting you these computers. So they don't do us no good sitting around here gathering dust and getting older. We want to move these computers out. So give us a call if you know someone that could use a desktop computer. They come with a monitor, keyboard, and mouse. They also have Windows 10 Professional loaded on them. So it's got some of the best stuff, the best software, and it's ready to go. So if you know anybody, have them get in touch with us. We've got 13 computers, and we'd like to move them out move them out this Saturday. We'll have a pickup that will happen this Saturday between 10:30 and 12. So we would like for you, if you're interested, to get involved and get in touch with us, or have the family or anybody that you know that could use a desktop computer, get in touch with us, and we'll see about getting that to you. All right, so we like to do that at KUAW. That's what we're about, is getting the black families involved in technology and knowing what they can do and how they can use it to help improve their standard of living. So we want you to have this, and it's our way of giving you something in this new year. They were donated to us from Assertus, which is a company over in Lenexa, Kansas, Assertus. We want to thank them for making the donation and entrusting the Black Family Technology Awareness Association that we would be able to get these out, and we're glad to do that. And, you know, we're always wanting to get kids and people involved in technology, and one of the things that we also like to do is talk about the field of technology and math and science and all of that. And we use NASA, which is the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, as a way to encourage people and get that excitement going. So this week we're going to do it again. They're back. They had a break over the holiday period, but we're going to go back to our regular show, the segment of This Week at NASA. So we're going to show that up right now. When we come back, we'll have our guest, and we will get into the conversation and talk a little bit about what's going on in the world, in this government, and what we're doing in America right now. So stay tuned. We'll be back. And right now we'll have This Week at NASA.
An update on the Green Run hot fire test for Artemis 1, a commercial cargo spacecraft leaves the space station, and innovative ideas for exploring unexplored areas of the moon. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA. The Green Run hot fire test with the Space Launch System or SLS rocket's core stage for our Artemis 1 mission is now targeted for as early as January 17th. The hot fire is the 8th and final scheduled test of the Green Run series and will see all 4 of the rocket's engines fire to simulate a launch. We conducted the 7th test of the series, the wet dress rehearsal, on December 20th. During that test, the core stage tanks were loaded with more than 700,000 gallons of supercold propellant for the first time and then drained. SLS will launch an uncrewed Orion spacecraft on a mission around the moon on Artemis 1. A Northrop Grumman Cygnus cargo spacecraft left the International Space Station on January 6th, more than 3 months after delivering nearly 8,000 pounds of supplies, scientific investigations, and other cargo to the orbiting outpost. The Cygnus is named in memory of Kalpana Chawla, a member of the STS-107 crew that was lost in the Space Shuttle Columbia accident. During a virtual forum January 6th and 7th, university teams selected as finalists in NASA's Breakthrough Innovative and Game-Changing or Big Idea Challenge presented innovative concepts for lunar payloads that can help NASA explore previously uncharted areas on the moon. Some of these concepts could help our Artemis lunar exploration program study the moon ahead of a human landing and help establish a sustained presence on the lunar surface. Researchers at our Kennedy Space Center recently tested a new robotic cube rover inside a massive bin of regolith rock and dust used to simulate the lunar surface. The shoebox-sized rover, built by Astrobotic Technology, was funded by a NASA program that encourages commercial development of innovative technologies to fulfill agency needs. As is the case with small satellites, the rover's standard size enables researchers and students to build and launch them on NASA missions designed to expand science, exploration, and commercial activity on the moon. NASA contributions to 2 recently approved heliophysics missions will help us understand the Sun and Earth as an interconnected system. One is an international mission targeted for launch in 2026 that will use a next-generation solar-observing telescope to study how solar wind and material is released from the Sun's atmosphere. The other mission will use a trio of small satellites to study electric currents in Earth's atmosphere, linking aurora to Earth's magnetosphere. That mission will launch no earlier than June 2024. Data from our Solar Dynamics Observatory have led to new results about the workings of sunquakes, seismic activity seen as ripples on the sun following a solar flare. Scientists have long suspected that sunquakes are driven by magnetic forces or heating of the outer atmosphere where solar flares occur. But data captured by SDO in 2011 saw surface ripples of a sunquake emerging from deep beneath the solar surface right after a flare occurred. Scientists now think that sunquake ripples are driven by a submerged source, which is somehow triggered by solar flares in the atmosphere above. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on the web at nasa.gov/TWAN.
All right. Let me get me back on here. Hey, there you are. All right, that's what's happening this week in NASA. And as I said, we've got a guest in the studio today, and we want to bring it to you so that we can start talking. He's got some interesting background, and we're hoping to have a great conversation. So I want to welcome to KUAW, and let me get the camera up here in a second. Yes, welcome to Mr. Eric Sanders. Eric Sanders, we'd like to welcome you to the BFTAA and More show. How are you doing today? Oops, so let me see. I better turn on your microphone. Now, how are you doing?
Thank you, George. I appreciate you. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity, this format, so I can share some of my ideals and my opinions to your viewers.
All right.
Listeners.
That's what we definitely, viewers and listeners, we got them all here and stuff, but that's what we want. KUAW Radio. And all while this conversation is going on, you feel free to give us a call, 816-599-6893. Also, tell your friends that they can pick us up. Just go to YouTube or Facebook, type in KUAW Radio, and we should be there, and they can hear this. So we're glad to be here and glad that you're joining with us. So, Mr. Sanders, I know you had been in here recently. You came in with Mr. Carl Boyd on a show, and we talked. So tell us a little bit about who is Eric Sanders. What's your background? Did you start in a small, humble beginnings and all of that type of stuff?
Oh, yes. I'm born and raised in Kansas City. I went to Greenwood, did homes. I went to Central. I went to Southwest. Then I left Kansas City, and I went to the military. I done 8 years in the military. Then I left there and done correctional. And I was an officer of the court for like 7 years. And then I left that and became a police officer for 7 years. And then I left them and became a fireman, EMT.
Man, you've had that's a lot of career. I mean, that is a lot of career changes, a lot of things to go through, but it's good. I mean, that's one way if you want to explore some things, check it out. And as we tell young people, the sky's the limit. I mean, you can do things if you really want to do it and stuff. And that's, what you've done, sounds great and stuff. So do you have a family here in Kansas City?
Yes,
okay.
My family's here. My wife and my children, and my mom and my dad, and I have a whole bunch. I have a few aunties, and when my last uncle passed away, I had 2 uncles that passed last year. My Uncle Calvin, Uncle Thomas, and my Uncle John passed away. So, yeah, it's been a rough year.
All right. Well, I tell you now, you came in here, and I know that you've been working with organizations. I don't know if we want to start with the government and what's happening now, or with the organization that you have. What would you like to talk about first?
I want to talk about NAGA, KansasCityNAGA.com.
Okay.
That's the webpage. That's an organization that myself and Jeff Maples and Eric Bowie started 3+ years ago, and it's grown, and I'm so proud of the organization. We have a large group of leaders, instructors, range safety officers that's dedicated, that's committed to our cause, to the understanding, to educate our community about safety, education, training of firearms properly, to be safe with them. And a couple of times people approach me, especially pastors, and they say, "Why we really need firearms in the inner city or our community?" Like, trying to deny African Americans that opportunity. I'm like, yes, we need them, and we need them trained, educated, and they can be safe with them.
Absolutely. I know that even now, a lot of churches have a security team in there, being that it's sad to say, but we've had church shootings where a young man down in Texas went in and shot people, and that people were able to return fire and to bring that to an end. But the need to have weapons is seeming to be more so than less now.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's really upsetting when I hear a person of faith that sits back and say, well, the invisible protective shield will be a place around them. They pray to God about it, but faith without works is dead, and you need to be able to protect yourself. That's a human right. I think that when you go off and you look at the world today, it's just outrageous for you to sit back and think that you can pray to God and you not be protected. You need to protect yourself. God wants you to protect yourself.
Yes. Well, that's definitely a thing. Now you talked about being able to, NAGA. What does NAGA stand for first?
It stands for National African American Gun Association.
The National African American Gun Association.
Correct. And it was started by Mr. Phil Phillips.
Okay, and how long have you been around in Kansas City?
We've been around for 3+ years. We celebrated our anniversary in November.
And how is the membership?
We started off with close to 5 to 15. Now we up to 70 to almost 100.
Okay, and is everyone welcome at your meetings?
Yes.
All right.
It's open to everyone.
And that's women and men also?
Yes, you can be white, pink, blue, orange, gray. We accept anyone.
All right, all right. Well, it's always good to know and stuff. So what would you want to tell people about a gun association, the benefits of a gun association?
Oh, it's a lot of benefits to it. You get to shoot with a great group of people, law-abiding citizens. You have to get your carry concealed to make sure you're not a felon. We don't accept felons. So what we do is we go off and train. We have our own range where we train at. We do tactical drills. We teach people how to protect themselves, gun retention, kill zones, also to where if someone break in, how to post up and look for cover, stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking over here. I'm trying to pick up our live feed, and I don't see it, although it says we're going out. Let me start that again. So just a second. See what come out and show us out there. I know we're going out on Twitch, but I want our Facebook viewers to be able to see us. And I didn't see that, so we got a little technical difficulty for a second. Let me take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, you're listening to KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station. We don't only bring you videos on Facebook and YouTube, but listen to our audio only, where you'll get shows like Cheryl Underwood and Blues Time in the City. You can pick us up at www.kuaw.org or go to the TuneIn app and search KUAW. Listen to us. We're on 24 hours a day. That's KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station. And this is what you hear every day from noon till 2. Don't miss the Cheryl Underwood Show.
Where you at, baby?
Sure, I'm at my first alma mater, Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia. CAU was the first HBCU in the southern United States. Shout out to our affiliate ATL Talks in Atlanta, Georgia, and everyone getting out there to vote for those 2 Senate seats. We love you.
That's what I'm talking.
You are listening to KUAW Radio, home of the all-new Jamal Biggs Show, and I'm Jamal Biggs, and thank you so very much for listening to the station bringing you talk, news, entertainment that you won't get anywhere else. KUAW, in, of, and about our community.
This is the last weekend before Christmas, and on Blue Simon City, we're wrapping up our all Christmas blues and Southern Soul program.
Gene Bailey.
We have a very special guest that you will definitely enjoy, and we'll hear from some of the artists that sing the Christmas blues. Join me, Gene Bailey, for Blue Simon City this weekend before Christmas, right here.
This is comedian Janelle Banks, and you are listening to KUAW.
An update on the Green Run Hot Fire test for Artemis 1, a commercial cargo spacecraft leaves the space station, and innovative ideas for exploring unexplored areas of the moon.
Something that always seems to want to make the day interesting, but those are going on. So you may have a problem with our Facebook feed right now. We are on YouTube. I was just checking that. So on the KUAW Radio YouTube channel, we're there, and we should be on Twitter. But for some reason, I don't see the Facebook page. But what we'll do, this is recorded on YouTube. I'll be able to download it, and I'll run this show back on Facebook. It may be tomorrow, but we'll make sure that it does get out and everybody can see it. But we'll go ahead now. Finish telling us about the group. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, yes. It's a great group of guys. We got together, and we have a very strong bond, more of a family, in that we go out and shoot. We have some acres out. We have a Black Cowboy Ranch that we go to, and we shoot out there once every other month. And then we also shoot down at 435 and 23rd and the Caves. So we just have so much fun shooting. We incorporate safety, education, training, and we are open to anyone that's willing to incorporate safety and training along with the education part of firearms.
All right. And do you do any type of like educational outreach or anything like that with your organization?
Oh, yes. That's on on the script. We're going to start this next month. We're going to start educating people how to securely secure their firearms, what type of safes, what type of safe devices that they need to purchase to make sure their weapons in their home are safe, so no one can come in and steal them or their children can get to them.
All right. And what about the organizations, say like churches and things? Will you be bringing any firearm safety to groups like that?
Yes, I'm hoping that churches wake up to how important it is to provide safety for their congregation, their members. It's important to worship and fellowship in a safe environment. So I have already trained several churches already, along with their them gaining their CCW.
All right. Well, that's definitely good to hear, because we need organizations that are about helping in the community are always beneficial, and we need all different types of organizations to help out, because there's more than one way that the community works together. You know, we work together in voting and stuff like that, but we have to work together in protection and in security. All of that kind of goes hand in hand with each other. So is there anything else about the organization that you'd like to talk to us about?
We've been reaching out to other gun clubs. We had another chapter over in Kansas, and that we have another, it's another group that's here with us, a female gun club. I think it's Pretty Pink Pistols. I think that's what it is.
Okay,
and
Pretty Pink Pistols.
They showed up in our meeting yesterday. We had Kevin Jamison. He's a big time Second Amendment attorney. He's a gun advocate, and they showed up, and we had a great time. It was close to 30 people that showed up. It was awesome.
Excellent. Well, that's good to hear. That working out. Pretty Pink Pistols. All right. We'll be waiting to see that on a T-shirt or something.
You know
like
what? That might not be it. It might be Posse. It might be Pretty Pistol Posse. That's what it is.
Something like that. Okay.
That's it right there.
Pretty Pistol Posse. Okay.
That's it.
Pretty good, though. But definitely glad to hear about it and stuff. So, yeah, now, as things have been going on this week, and a lot of people are definitely aware of over the last week rather, that we had a riot or insurrection, as some are calling it. Some are calling it a riot, and things like that. But we really had a disturbing set of images and facts that went on up in Washington, D.C., where armed protesters or insurrectionists actually took over or entered the Capitol. They didn't take over the whole Capitol building, but they actually assaulted officers, took over a certain amount of ground in there, and were held, for 3 or 4 hours inside the nation's Capitol. So now, what are your thoughts on those type of actions?
It's upsetting to me that you can see that type of unrest in our country capital. Plus, being a former law enforcement officer and a vet, it touched my heart dearly to see how our capital being disrespected, how we're at to a point to where it's unsafe for someone who have a disagreement or a separate opinion from yours, to where you don't even want to listen to them. You don't want to respect their opinion. So what you do is you go out and you tear up the Capitol, and the thing that really upsetting is that the disparities, how they treat Black Lives Matter compared to Make America Great Again, is totally separate. When Black Lives Matter showed up, they had the Capitol Police, they had the National Guard, they had FBI agents, they had local law enforcement, and they wouldn't even allow Black Lives Matter to touch the stairs. They had fenced around the Capitol. No windows got broken, no doors got broken, no vandalism got done to that Capitol building. Now you have Make America Great Again, and you had 5 large doors tore down. You had 38 windows busted out. You had laptops stolen. You had mail stolen. You had 5 people that was literally died that day. 5 people had died. 1 police officer. Okay.
Yes.
And none of that happened when Black Lives Matter had their protest back in June 1st. At the same time, with Black Lives Matter, it was 326 that got arrested. On Wednesday, it was only 61 it's a problem.
Yes. Yeah, people were just told to leave the building.
You know, and it's sad to where you see the bias.
Yes.
And then when you go off and Joe Biden get up there and say, look at disparities. Look at the difference on how one group get treated compared to Make America Great Again. But at the same time, Marco Rubio get on television saying that why is he bringing up the disparities? It is so important to show the difference on how one group of people get treated. You have to expose that.
Yes.
If you keep that underneath the rug, sooner or later it's going to blow up in your face.
Absolutely. That's the thing that people don't want to acknowledge a disparity. And then when something happened, they say, well, we never knew that happened. We never knew that was going on. And this is like, no, we've got to shine a light on it, on the disparities. And I saw a couple of things on the web, and they, kind of made sense. And it wasn't, big earth-shaking things. But as one guy said, is that we're not saying that you should shoot more white people if they protest. We're asking that you don't shoot us. That is the more important thing, treat us the same way.
Exactly.
We don't want to see any more violence on them,
I agree.
Don't use it on us.
I agree. And sit back and watch how the police responded to that violent crowd, and they was running from the crowd.
Yes.
You had police officers who had their service weapon on their hip who was running away from the crowd, a violent crowd. Now, me being an instructor, a carry conceal instructor, you got three things that need to be present. Jeopardy, ability, and means. If that's there, you can use deadly force. It was there.
Yes.
It was there.
Oh,
and
yes.
At the same time, the police officer refused to pull out his weapon and shoot into the crowd. And I wish that law enforcement felt that way toward black people, because I guarantee you this. If Black lives acted the same way to Make America Great Again, protesters to act, it would have been a massacre. They would have killed them.
Yes.
They would have killed them. It would have been mass killings that day. That's the reality we live in.
Yes.
And when we sit back here and we make these excuses, saying why are we showing these, how one group get treated than the other, to make this country great, we all have to live off the fat of the land. Not just one group of people benefit from America. We all should benefit from America.
Yes. Yes. And that's just a fair thing to do and stuff. I saw another thing that they had put out when President Trump had said before, when they were having the unrest in Oregon and Portland and those, that they had passed a new law that anybody damaging a federal building, a statue, a monument, any of that would face the full extent of the law. There was a new monuments law or act passed that would be 10 years. And he was telling them that if you do that, you get 10 years.
You should get 10 years.
See, now you don't hear anybody bringing that up.
No.
That these people are going to be charged with breaking that law. And I mean, what greater federal building could you cause damage in?
These people are so arrogant to where they went back to their hotel rooms and took selfies.
Yes.
In their hotel rooms with laptops and mail that they stolen from senators and House of Representatives. It's outrageous.
Yeah.
And you know what? The sad thing about it is our politicians are worried about the backlash of the 75 million people that voted for Donald Trump. That's what they're worried about. They're worried about that segment of this country that would be pissed off at them. Instead of incorporating justice,
yes,
they're like hesitating, they tiptoeing.
Yep.
And we all see it. We all see it.
Their hands are tied.
Someone died. And guess what? No one went to jail for that.
Yes.
Nobody went to jail for that. And it's sad, and it's like, it really hurts my heart being a vet, being a former law enforcement officer. And then what I heard was the reason why they allowed them in, because some of those guys that was the protesters was FBI agents, police officers, and they were showing their badge. And that's how they got inside the Capitol.
Wow. See, now that is a thing there and stuff. And you wonder, when all of that went on, the way it went on, was it not coordinated? Was there not, the delays in calling out the National Guard and all of that and stuff, is make you think that there, you'd hate to think it, but there's an element, because there are police officers that were in that crowd. There were elected officials that have already been known that were in that crowd. So it wasn't just people off of the streets and stuff. It was people in law enforcement that were part of the crowd.
And you wondering why African Americans do not trust police officers or law enforcement. It's hard to trust them. It's really hard to trust them because you sit back and you watch a police officer put his knee on this man's neck and kill him.
Yes.
You watch a police officer pull out his service weapon and shoot 7 rounds into this man's back in front of his kids. Then you watch him, a auntie with her nephew was sitting there playing a video game inside her home. And just because he had a gun on her shelf or table, the police shot inside her home and killed her. Then you have another kid in a park playing with a pellet gun, and the police rolled up within less than 2 seconds and they kill him, and they mistakenly thought he was 18, he was 12.
Yes.
And then you have another guy who was eating a bowl of ice cream, watching a football game. Police mistakenly thought it was her apartment. She pulled out her service weapon. She shoot him in the chest twice. It's a problem.
Yes. Yes, that is it. In Kansas City, we're talking not just Kansas City, the world, because this is a global community radio station. We're bringing this up. This is BFTAA and more. I'm talking with Mr. Eric Sanders from the NAGA group here in Kansas City. And we're talking about this because it's just something that is in the news. Yeah, we talk about technology, but this is BFTAA and more. And we want to talk about more things that are going on because we have to let this out. We've got to talk about it, and we still open up the lines. We've got about 7 or 8 minutes left here, and if you want to make a call, give us a call at 816-599-6893. That's 816-599-6893, and I'm looking at our Facebook page, and it is up, so we're on that now. So I'm glad to say that you can go to Facebook, KUAW-radio, and pick up the BFTAA and more show if you weren't able to pick it up earlier. But give us a call, express your opinion, or you can put it up on Facebook if you don't want to call in. We'll look for those, and if I don't answer them on the air right now, we'll pick them up later, and we'll talk to you about it. But we have to talk about the things that are going on in this country that we're raising our children in, that we want to make this a better place, and we don't make it a better place by acting like it doesn't exist. That, you close your eyes, turn your head. It's not going to. If there's violence in your community, if it's all around your house, sooner or later, it's going to come in your living room. If it's all around your house, and you're not addressing it, if you're not saying anything about it, then sooner or later, it's going to affect you. So we have to talk about these things and hopefully get some clarity and raise people's awareness of what's going on, because there's a lot of people that don't know. I run into, and I know white people that have said sometimes that, well, I didn't know this happened. They can live in an isolated bubble because there's a lot of white people that live in areas where there's no black people around. They don't go to school with them. They're not in the neighborhood. They may see 1 or 2 at the store, and they may not even see them. There's cities where there is no black people, but there's hardly anywhere that black people live that there's not some white people. So, yeah, you might not know about us. We definitely know about you, and we need to talk. We need to get these things out. We need to be able to share opinions, and I invite this space to anyone. Let's see who's calling. Yes, it's KUAW Radio. Oh, okay. Hold on just a second. And your name is? Oh, Erica. Okay. Just a second. We'll get you on the air here.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, Erica. You're on the air.
Yes, I just wanted to say how proud. Eric Sanders is my father, and I just want to say how proud I am of him. I've been watching the podcast, and it's really informative, and it's great. My father is very passionate about his gun business. I just wanted to call in and support him, and just tell him I love him, and I'm gonna keep watching.
I love you too, Erica.
I wanted to say.
I love you too. Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for calling. All right.
That's my heart right there.
Bye-bye.
That's my baby. Yeah, that's my
All
baby.
right,
Oh,
all
yeah.
right. But that's good because family is definitely
Oh,
important.
yeah, it's definitely important. And, you know, the whole issue about me getting off in guns, and just I'm trying to have a platform so I can reach out and touch people's lives and make an impact before I leave this planet. You know, and it's important to where I want the African American community to be safe. I want them to enjoy firearms. You know, when I keep hearing these pastors, the first thing come out of their mouth is that, do we really need more guns in our community? I say, you know, we need more trained, educated people who own firearms responsibly. That's what we need.
All right.
That's
all
what we
right.
need.
Yeah, the trained and responsible.
Exactly.
I hear those two words in there. So it's not just talking about putting guns in anybody's hands.
Yeah, you never hear about people taking guns out of white folks' hands. You never hear that. The first thing you hear from religious leaders is that, do we really need more firearms in our community? I say, you know what? We need trained, educated, responsible gun owners. That's what we need. That's the reality we need. And I think black people need to practice their Second Amendment rights. It's their right. And I believe that if more black people, especially black women, if they carry firearms, guess what? You're going to have less black women dead. That's the reality of it. And that's why I really want to reach out to the African American women and make sure they're armed, loaded, educated, and trained, and incorporate safety, and they're responsible gun owners, because a lot of them are coming up dead, you know, and it's upsetting to see these women, especially when I was a police officer and fireman. I used to see these women, and they're gone. And 9 out of 10 most of the time was they didn't have no protection. They was just vulnerable sheep. And what I want to do is teach you how to protect yourself. That's a human right.
All right, all right. So before we go, could you let people know, how do they get in touch with you or get in touch with your organization? You said you had a website, you have things like that.
Yeah.
Would you give that out, please?
Yes, kcnaga.com. You can contact the website, or you can contact me, Sanders, 0923-1964 Eric at gmail.com. I have a class. I have a CCW class coming up February 27th. It'll be a great class to jump into. We sit down, we educate you about firearms. We one-on-one teach you how to do your stance, your dominant eye, how to hold the firearm properly, correctly. It's an outstanding class. We teach you the jam elements. It's outstanding. We have a large group of instructors, Marsha, Andre, Jeff Maples. I mean, these guys are phenomenal. So it'll be a good class to jump into.
Excellent. And that's kcnaaga.com?
Yes.
All right. All right. Well, that's definitely, we want you to get in touch with the NAGA group. That's the Kansas City National African American Gun Association.
Correct.
All right. All right. So, Eric, I want to say that it's been a pleasure having you here. We're going to have you back. As a matter of fact, we're thinking about how we can incorporate this into a regular show or a regular segment of a show is about gun ownership, about gun safety, and those things. So you guys that are listening out there, if you want to see more about what NAGA is doing and want to know more about gun ownership and stuff, drop us a line. Let us know this is a show that you want to see, because we want to bring things to the community that are of interest to the community, and we're all about being safe, doing it in the right way. There's, like they say, it's not just the guns, but it's the people behind them. It's not being educated, not being responsible, not being safe that causes more problems than just having guns themselves. So I want to thank you. Thank you for coming in this evening. I really appreciate it, and I want to continue to work with and communicate with NAGA as we go forward in this and stuff. So thank you this evening.
Thank you, George, giving me that platform. I appreciate you.
All right, all right. So you've been listening to the BFTAA and More Show. This is your host, Louis George Walker, and I am glad to be here. This is KUAW Radio, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, Kansas City's global community radio station. So we'll be back next Monday from 5 to 5:45 with BFTAA and more. See you later. You're listening to KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station. We don't only